All right, let's get right into it. Have you ever been on a team that just clicks, where everything flows? We all want to know what that secret sauce is. Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the mind of the high achiever and find out the one thing they absolutely need to win. It all comes down to this one number, plus 0.1154. Now, I know what you're thinking. What on earth is that? It looks like just another boring number, but trust me, it's not. This is a huge clue. It's a key that unlocks a deep truth about what makes effective teams tick. So what is it? It's something called a Pearson correlation. It's just a fancy math term for how closely two things are connected. And this specific number comes from a global poll of nearly 1,500 people. And it proves there's a really strong link between having an achievement-focused mind and demanding structure and clarity from your team. And that brings us to what we're calling the clarity correlation. Because look, it's one thing to know this connection exists. It's a whole other thing to understand why it's so powerful and what it means for how you actually lead people.
The kind of thinking we're talking about here is often called the orange mindset, from a model called spiral dynamics. Just think of it like the internal operating system for a super-driven, strategic person. It's all about getting results, winning the competition, being efficient, and having the freedom to just execute a winning game plan. It's not about working hard, it's about working smart to crush the competition.
And this quote just nails it. For someone running on that orange operating system, a vague goal or a fuzzy plan isn't some cool opportunity for creative thinking. No way. It's a bug in the system. It's friction. It's wasted time and energy that should be going toward one thing, and one thing only: winning. Okay, so that's the mindset. How does this actually show up in the real world? Well, that's what we call the orange blueprint. It's how this way of thinking literally builds organizations and shapes leaders. And you see this thinking everywhere with top management experts like Patrick Lencioni. He gets it. He doesn't see ambiguity as some kind of nice-to-have flexibility. To him, it's basically debt. Every single assumption, every unclear role is like a tax on your team's performance that you are absolutely going to have to pay for later. You can see this blueprint in action at pretty much every top company. Think about Google's OKRs. That system is engineered for radical clarity. Or Amazon's single-threaded leadership, which makes sure there's zero confusion about who owns what. When the CEO of Micron shook up his team, it was all about creating super explicit rules to drive results. For these guys, structure isn't bureaucracy, it's a strategic weapon. Okay, but here's where things get really, really interesting. This absolute love of structure, it's not universal, not even close. In fact, there are other ways of thinking out there that see this exact same structure not as an engine, but as a cage. And this chart says it all. I mean, just look at this divide. Over on the left, you've got our orange mindset with that strong positive number we started with. Right next to it is the blue mindset, which is all about order and safety. It also likes structure, just not quite as much. But then, look at the other side. The yellow and turquoise mindsets, they have a negative correlation. For them, more structure is actually a bad thing. They literally want less of it. So what's going on here? Why the huge split? Well, for orange, structure means efficiency. For blue, it means safety and predictability. But for yellow and turquoise, which are all about tackling super complex, messy problems, rigid structure is a liability. It gets in the way. It prevents the kind of fluid adaptive thinking they need to solve those wicked problems that have no simple answer. And this leads us to the big payoff. Once you get these different psychological profiles, you can actually start predicting how a team is going to react to things. You can go from just guessing to actually forecasting their response. The logic behind it is actually pretty simple and super powerful. Step 1, you figure out the team's dominant mindset. Step 2, you introduce some kind of action like a new policy. And step 3, you can predict whether they're going to see that as a gain that helps them or a pain that holds them back. Let's make this totally real. Let's say you roll out a strict new goal-setting process. Your high orange team, they're going to see that as a huge gain. They'll be like, finally, clear metrics, a clear target, let's go win. But what about a high turquoise team? They will experience that exact same change as a pain. They'll say, whoa, this is way too rigid. It's killing our ability to collaborate and adapt. It's the same action, but it creates completely opposite reactions, and it's all predictable. So this really gets to the heart of a huge tension in leadership today, right? Is structure an engine for getting things done, or is it a cage that traps our potential?
And the answer, of course, is it depends on who you're asking.
And that means we have to ask the really tough question here. This relentless strive for clarity from the orange mindset, is it always a good thing? Is it always a strength? Or is there a dark side to it? Because, let's be honest, there are some serious risks. If you lean too hard into structure, you can build systems that are brittle and just snap when things change. You might accidentally kill all the messy, creative work that leads to real breakthroughs. And maybe worst of all, you can completely miss the boat on the human stuff. Things like trust and feeling safe. And this is the crucial balancing act. After years of research, Google's Project Aristotle discovered that the number one most important thing for an effective team wasn't structure, it wasn't talent, it was psychological safety. It's that fundamental belief that you won't get punished for speaking up or making a mistake. It's the trust that lets people take the risks you need to grow. So, we want to leave you with this question to think about. What's the operating system of your team? Are you built for structured execution or for messy, breakthrough innovation? Because the real magic of leadership isn't about choosing one or the other. It's about finding that perfect balance between the structure you need to win today and the freedom you need to create tomorrow.